Ministry of Education says its attention has been drawn to public discourse in sections of the media regarding a supposed Primary 1 textbook which is titled Natural Science for Primary Schools and written and published by one Albert Joseph Quam, which claims in an illustration that the head is used for carrying objects. Now, a statement issued by the Public Relations Officer of the Ghana Education Service noted that the book in question is not the approved textbook for schools under the Ghana Education Service. It further explained that it is unfortunate and with possibilities such as this that the Ministry of Education vets and authorizes books intended for use in our schools, and the reason it has requested heads of schools to keep their schools away from unapproved material. The statement says there is only one approved Primary 1 textbook, which is titled Natural Science for Primary Schools and Activity-Based Pupils Book 1, jointly published by Peter Siedu, Henrik Atta Ba Yeboah, and Ebenezer Ejiri Domte. On page 62 of this particular book, it is indicated that our head contains the brain which helps us to think. It advised against associating the ministry or the Ghana Education Service with such publications. And we've been joined on the line by the Public Relations Officer of the Ministry of Education, Francis Gbadago. Good afternoon, Mr. Gbadago.
Good afternoon, and thanks for having me, Martin.
Good. To start with, how much damage has the publication of this book done to the Ghana Education Service's efforts at giving education to our primary pupils?
Thank you very much once again for having me this afternoon. Well, first of all, I wouldn't be able to give you any specific measurement of damage, though, because we don't know whether these books are in the schools or they are in the hands of our children for use. What we do know is that there is only one Primary 1 textbook titled Natural Science for Primary Individuals. And so we wouldn't be able to know whether such books are currently in use by these students.
Okay, but the book that was published by Mr. Quam, we are told, is a supplementary textbook. Is that the case? Can you confirm that for us?
That is a supplementary material. And so what it means is that any parent can decide to buy it for his or her child, and nobody is obliged to buy it. It's up to the parents to decide to buy it or not to buy it.
Okay, so if you describe it as a supplementary material, how different is that from a book which the one we mentioned, which you said you have approved? Is that also not a supplementary textbook? What's the difference?
Not at all. Just as I've explained in the case of the supplementary one, the textbook is being used in our schools. They are in the schools stores. They use it on daily basis as part of their teaching and learning activities, and that is what government has approved for use in our schools. And so whether you like it or not, you as a teacher, you as a student, you are expected to use those government approved textbooks. And that particular textbook is what we are referring to as the one that has been authored by 3 different personalities.
Okay. Contrary
to what the media has been speculating.
Good. Now, we have a number of these kinds of books in the market, these books for young children, and we have parents who go around town buying some of them. How do you, what is the Ghana Education Service doing about these books, which, like in this case, is giving contrary information to what is in the approved textbooks?
Well, under normal circumstances, if you happen to write a book, you are expected to send it to specific agencies that will approve it for you, or they would have to okay it before you take it to the open market to sell. And so in these circumstances, it has become necessary for us to also emphasize to our parents that indeed it is very important that they know what exactly they are buying for their children. And so at all times, it is equally very important that they can find out from the Curriculum Research and Development Division of the Ghana Education Service if such books, for example, have been okay for use in the open market.
Okay, and my final question would be, are there sanctions by the Education Service on people who, or on materials that you find to be contrary or detrimental to the educational style of children? Do you have sanctions for people who you find out are probably putting out content which is not approved?
Well, if they found out that there are some materials in a particular book that are not consistent with what is expected to be there, definitely they have to withdraw it from the system. And so they have monitoring systems in place that they usually use for such things. And we believe strongly that with the emergence of this particular issue, we would have to strengthen such measures to ensure that we do not make room for such things to happen the next time.
Okay, thank you very much, Francis Badago. He is the Public Relations Officer of the Ministry of Education, and he was talking to us about that controversial issue that has been in the social media for a few days now, which indicate that the head is used for carrying load. There are some who side with the writer of that book, Joseph Kwam, and there are those who say state contrary. He would join us also to let us know his side of the story, and when he does, you'll get to see him and hear him as well.